Following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, all by the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 23rd day of July 2023. And if you have a smart speaker, this would be the time to go and ask it to play Earth, Wind, and Fire's September. Don't do Green Day's Wake Me When September Ends, because if that's the case, you'll have missed the entire rest of the regular season. There are 30 days left to this 1956 season, and 5 teams are within 3.5 games of each other in the American League. We thought the National League would be the big case. The Dodgers start September 1st, 11 games up on the Braves, who would be 4 clear of everybody in the American League, as a matter of fact. So as the Detroit Tigers continue to do parade laps around the American League road course, we go again today between the Indians and the White Sox from Chicago. By the way, the Labor Day doubleheader is going to be the Tigers and the White Sox from Comiskey Park in Chicago. Yep, the Midwest featuring very prominently in this replay. Bob Lemon gets the call today for the Indians, the grizzled veteran, and so over the last 2 days you got to see Bob Feller, and today it's Bob Lemon, and Jerry Staley gets the call for the White Sox. If you were with us yesterday, 2 hours of good entertainment and a lot of baseball. My voice is pretty much shot to have 2 teams split. So no change in the standings as far as where they are against each other. And because they played 2 games as opposed to Detroit's 1, somebody gained a half a game. So that's where we are. It is the White Sox hosting the Indians on a nice afternoon in Chicago. Don't wait. If you wait till September to end, it'll be the World Series. Just enjoy this, okay? As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1956. Today, from Comiskey Park in Chicago, Illinois, it is the Boston Red Sox, the Chicago White Sox, and the Cleveland Indians. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find Dave and Vinny today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. How you doing, Greg? Nice to have you along for this. Both teams are 69 and 57, and so quick back of the envelope math tells us this is game 127 with 27 left after this. Chicago goes with Jerry Staley over from the Yankees on May 29th. Jerry is 36. He is a fastball pitcher, maybe at 81, and a fly ball pitcher. He's making his 7th of 10 starts, and he hasn't lost yet. He went 8-3 with a 2.92 ERA in real life. On the replay, 8-0 with a 4.14 ERA, which is amazing. Thanks, Andy, and I'm glad you're doing well, Greg. Staley has faced the Indians. Well, this is his 3rd start against them. And when you looked at yesterday's numbers with some of the starters and they had pitched really well and couldn't win, Staley's the opposite. In 2 prior starts, 18 innings, 23 hits, 12 runs, 10 earned. But he's 2-0 with an earned run average of 5 and a 2.95 average against, which tells you Cleveland is hitting well against them. His last start 5 days ago against the Orioles, he went the distance in a Woolworth win, 10-5, a 5-and-dimer, 9 innings, 158 pitches, a season high for him by a mile, 13 hits, 5 runs all earned, 5 walks, and a strikeout. So in 76 innings, Staley, a pitch-to-contact pitcher, 85 hits, 38 runs, 35 of them earned, 7 homers. He walked 15 and has struck out 20. Now, the bullpens are going to be in good shape in this one because we really didn't go very far with the pens in yesterday's doubleheader. Al Smith leads off in center field. His 18-game hitting streak snapped in the first game yesterday. Bobby Avila at second will bat second. Vic Wertz at first goes third. Rocky Colavito cleans up in left. Gene Woodling in right will bat fifth. Al Rosen at third going sixth. Carrasquel at short goes seventh. Jim Hegan behind the plate batting eighth. And Bob Lemon, who is a good hitter, it looks like he wants to choke you in that picture, will bat ninth. Staley can give you 145 pitches. The outfield for Chicago, Minnie Minoso, a 9 and a 7 and left. Larry Doby, a 7 and a 3 in center. Yesterday's hero, Jim Rivera, at least at the end of game 2, a 6 and an 8 in right. Fred Hatfield is a 6 at third. Louis Aparicio, a 10 and a 10 at short. Nellie Fox, a 9 and a 10 at second. Walt Dropo, a 4 at first. He did not play the second game. Sherm Lawler, who caught both ends. And remember, yesterday's second game was an extra inning affair. An 8 and a 7 behind the plate. And Staley is a 5 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. It is not a rerun. So you can go Tribe all you want. This is live. Yeah, okay. No, my God, no triple header. Nothing worse than hitting the second game of a triple header and let's play 12 innings, shall we? No, let's not say we did. Bob Lemon played. That's right. Lemon could actually hit. And so it's not a surprise. Was it 48 or 49? He had double-digit home runs. Andy would know. And he was in the outfield for one of Bob Feller's no-hitters. All right, here we go. Al Smith at 265 homers and 48 RBI. As we get going. Was Coldplay there? Yes. And my pee was all yellow. Al Smith starts the ball game. A ground ball to third. Hatfield over to Dropo, and that's how this one starts. One out. Because of it's supposed to be hot tomorrow, this is the last scheduled stream of the week. And our next scheduled baseball stream, doubleheader for Labor Day between the Tigers and the White Sox right here at Comiskey. So I'm just parking my Tushy right here in Chicago. Bobby Avila is at 218, 6 homers and 37 RBI. Potty talk already. Well, at least I didn't get a Chipotle burrito. There's a fly ball to right. Rivera doesn't even really have to move. One out. Weather, there is wind today, 67 degrees. This was a Saturday night game, so the teams had a chance to recover after the doubleheader. Winds blowing in from left at 7. And again, a beautiful night as they mow the lawn behind me. Vic Wertz at 245, 28 homers, and 83 RBI. 7 homers and 49 was a career high for Lemon, but still, primarily as a pitcher, is a metric ton, unless your name is Shohei Ohtani or Babe Ruth. Pitch to Wertz. There's a fly ball to right. Rivera again will make the catch, and that will do. Apparently, that was a Coldplay joke. After half an inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. Cleveland nothing. Here come the White Sox. 37 career home runs. Again, primarily as a pitcher, and that is impressive. Didn't Drysdale have a bunch too? Anyway, here is Bob Lemon in this picture off of like a 54 or a 50, I think a 54 tops. Looks like he sucked on some lemons, doesn't it? Or had a big old bowl of broken glass for lunch, because I can do that. Bob is 36. He throws the Bugs Bunny fastball at 81, making his 29th of 35 starts. He isn't going to win 20. He is a 14-win pitcher, so he still has a chance, actually. 14 and 11 on the replay, and that ERA matches at 3.03, 5th and 6th, respectively, in their categories. Against the White Sox, a team he'd be quite familiar with. 4 previous starts, 2-2 with a 2.65 ERA and a batting average of 2.54. Again, those are good numbers, except for the 1-loss record. His last start, came against Washington on August 26th. So on full rest, in 9 1/3 innings, my goodness, 157 pitches, not even his season high. 9 1/3, so they were home to D.C. 14 hits, 6 runs, all earned, a home run allowed. In fact, he's allowed a home run in his last 5 starts, if I can count. A walk and 9 strikeouts. 223 innings for Lemon, 202 hits, 86 runs, 75 earned, 15 homers. He's walked 69 and struck out 90. Bob Gibson had 24, and Drysdale hit 29. You never dug in against Bob Gibson. The lineup the White Sox will throw out against Lemon. Jim Rivera leads off in right. Again, Aparicio down the order for this one. Nellie Fox at second will bat second. Larry Doby in center, batting third. Minnie Minoso cleans up in left. Sherm Lawler batting fifth behind the plate. Walt Dropo at first goes sixth. Fred Hatfield at third, batting seventh. Louis Aparicio at short goes eighth. And Staley, not a good hitter at all. In fact, he is 0 for 24 on the replay, batting ninth. Lemon can give you 135 pitches and is already thinking about how he's going to handle Reggie Jackson's ego, and who's growing up in... No, that was Jeter that was in Kalamazoo. Wherever Reggie grew up, Pennsylvania. Defensively for Cleveland, Al Rosen a 5 at third. Harris Goel a 6 and a 7 at short. Avila a 6 and a 6 at second. Wirtz a 5 at first. Colavito in left today. He's a 3 and a 9. Al Smith a 4 and a 6 in center. Gene Woodling a 4 and a 3 in right. Hegan, an outstanding defensive catcher. He's a 9 and an 8. And Lemon, very good on the mound. Defensively, he's an 8 out of 10 with a 934 fielding percentage. If you're American, you know what you're in the bathroom. That's true. And in today's The More You Know, the Europeans call them water closets. Or the loo, if you're the queen. We watch a lot of Japanese travel videos, and it's very interesting to see the shower and the bidet, because they don't use toilets, technically in separate rooms. You don't pee where you wash. There you go. CBS cares. Jim Rivera is at 234, 4 homers and 38 RBI. And that is into right center field. Back goes Smith. He's running a long way. 1 out. For Nellie Fox, who's hitting 297, 5 homers, and 59 RBI. Now, the cat I had before, Miss M, and you've all seen Miss M on cam, was big enough that he could stick his head in the loo. Now, I live in an accessible apartment, and for years and years and years, there was no back lid for you to sit. So if you sat on the... As you know how you do that. I can't use a regular toilet. It didn't do me any good. And we wanted to cut off the cat's access to the eternal water fountain. Because A, even though he was a cat, he made a lot of noise when he did it. And B, he's drinking out of the toilet. I gave you Fox's numbers. He had a big home run yesterday. Lemon's pitch. There's a ground ball to Chico Carrasquel over to Wirtz. And Fox is out on a bang-banger, 2 out. And so... for years, we pleaded with the housing authority, let us put the back of the seat on so we can have a lid for the toilet so the cat isn't drinking out of there. No, it's an accessible toilet. You need to have it on. I think I was 10 the last time I actually sat on a conventional toilet. My bladder is huge. And so they relented, and we cut off the cat's eternal water fountain. Reggie was from Cheltenham, north suburb of Philly, same area as Roy Campanella. Reggie graduated with Bibi Netanyahu and his twin brother. Wow. My best Johnny Carson. I did not know that. Did you know that, Ed? No, sir. I did not. Nipsey Russell and Margaret Thatcher were born on the exact same day, by the way. Surprising that Rick Wise was only 15 when you consider he hit 2 while throwing a no-hitter. Oh, that he hit 15. Remember, some of those pitchers hit well. The Dodgers got a bidet for Otani. I think that's a small price to pay. You're coming over to another country, at least give yourself a creature comfort from home. Larry Doby at 276, 18 homers and 76 RBI. That's a fly ball, right center, Smith. Second verse, same as the first, and we're through 1. With all that toilet talk, no runs, no hits, and no errors. After 1, no score. Speaking of toilet talk and home improvement, did you see that they're rebooting Home Improvement for one of the streaming services? Can we please make an original television show? Please? I'm surprised we don't have CSI Saranac Lake, for crying out loud. It'll be Colavito, Woodling, and Rosen to face Staley here in the second. Jerry played in the NBA too, right? Colavito at 253, 16 homers and 42 RBI. Rocky swings a ground ball to short. Aparicio's there, over to Dropo for the out. We had 7 people watching at one point, and they all left. Gene Woodling at 280, 11 homers and 40 RBI. We had one that broke, snuck up behind it and pushed it in. I'll never do it again. I'm not sure that came out the way you were thinking, because I'm not quite sure what you were talking about. Catfish Hunter was paid $250,000 a year for his hitting, which Charlie took away as the DH was introduced. Finley was... I think he wanted to be Bill Veeck and never was. Besides, who could stub his own cigarette out on his own fake leg like Bill Veeck could? They gave you Woodling's numbers. The Japanese toilet helped the Dodgers sign Sasaki. Again, you do what you got to do. It's not just interpreters. You're bringing someone away from home and expecting them to perform under a tremendous amount of pressure because it's the Dodgers. Yeah, you make it as easy for them as you can. Pitch to Woodling. There's a ground ball to Staley over to Dropo. I mean, if I went over and announced games in Japan, yeah, I'd want some Dr. Pepper, fake Dr. Pepper, and some of that stuff. Although I do like a lot of the Japanese food. Nothing wrong with that. Al Rosen at 281, 14 homers and 70 RBI. There is a ground ball to Fox behind the bag over to Dropo, and that will retire the side. So Staley, 6 up, 6 down. We've played an inning and a half, no score. So Minoso, Lawler, and Dropo to face Lemon here in the second. Minnie at 283, 18 homers and 91 RBI. Struck him out first for Lemon. Minnie looked at a 0-2 fastball. Mr. Baseball starting Tom Selleck. Yep. Jeremiah, how are you? Sherb Lawler at 299, 5 homers and 51 RBI. Jeremiah has to cart around his own lily pad wherever he goes because he's a bullfrog. Fly ball, shallow right field. Woodling moving over, makes the catch. 2 out for Dropo. Walt at 264, 7 homers and 45 RBI. And thanks for all the kind words on the video. I think it was John Alexander who asked for something along that line on the Facebook group. And so if you haven't watched it yet, I did a video on mental health and gaming. Lemon deals. Dropo, ground ball on the hole on the right side, and Woodling will throw it back in. So the first base runner for everybody is Walt Dropo. Here's Fred Hatfield. Fred at 250, 7 homers and 25 RBI. There is a line shot or a ground ball to Avila, and Bobby can't make the play. He was already making that throw to first in his head, and he realized that you have to have a ball to do that. So first and second, 2 out for Aparicio. I got to sneeze. Hitting .241. Excuse me, 3 homers. Almost like we were doing that for emphasis, and 45 RBI. Lemon thought he was out of the inning. Deals. There is a ground ball right back to the mound. Lemon throws to Wirtz, and Aparicio is retired. So no runs, a hit, an error. I got to sneeze again. And a 1 and a 2. White Sox strand 2. And after 2, excuse me, no score. Typing with gloves on. We had a cat that would drink out of the toilet, sneak up and push it in. Never do it again. That would be cruel. That would be cruel. You would find dead mice in your shoes. It is quite funny. But I don't have to live with that cat. Dennis Haysbert always did his own hitting in the baseball movies, and he hit for power. One of the hardest things I think you can do is take a round bat and hit a round ball. Carrascal at .238, 14 homers, one of the rare super anomalies in Action PC, and 59 RBI. That is up the middle, and that's a base hit. So the first hit for the Indians comes with nobody out in the third, and that'll bring up Jimmy Hegan, hitting .211, 7 homers, and 30 RBI. Ground ball to Staley. Fox for 1, Dropo for 2. So a 1-4-3 double play with 2 out for Bob Lemon, hitting .225. He had 5 home runs in 56. 2 home runs in the replay and 8 RBI. There's nothing worse than being half asleep and hearing the dog do that. If you go 3 for 10 and fail 7 times, you're a superstar. Oh, absolutely. Is there even a 300 hitter today? Made parallel, think of your mom. Okay, I'm sorry, passed away about 5 years ago. Today would be her birthday. She grew up on a farm, and she used to tell me they used to tip cows. That is a very... Now, did you grow up in Dayton, Parallel? Do you actually have a name? Because I call you Parallel. Is that what you want to be called? Pitch to Lemon, base is empty. That is up the middle, past Aparicio, and Lemon on cue has himself a single. So second hit here for the Indians in the third. Opening 9 for Staley, 23 pitches, 2 2/3, and 2 hits. Al Smith is 0 for 1. Lemon not a threat to steal. Chopper back to Staley. Had to wait for the spin. He takes it to the bag himself, and Smith beat it out. I'm not sure. Staley couldn't get out of the glove if it was just too much of a spinny thing, but he ended up carrying it all the way to first. And Al Smith is faster than the pitcher and beat it out. So 2 on, 2 out for Avila, who is 0 for 1. Greg says your mother passed away June of 24. Oh, and your father passed on April 1st. I'm so sorry. My birth father passed in 99. Unexpectedly at 49 years old. So I've actually outlived him. And my dad passed away 48 hours after the Cubs won the World Series in 16. So that's a blur. Steve, I don't need to mention your last name for those watching later. Lots of Steve, so you got called Shaq. Okay, Lynn. But I grew up in Dayton, but your parents are from Kentucky. Yeah, I'm about to say that the tipping cows up here in the rural confines of northern New York and New England is an absolute no-no. You get arrested for that if you get caught. It's a teenage prank, but the farmers don't like it. And if you find yourself getting caught doing that, you're about to get handed a shovel. And I don't need to tell you what you're going to be shoveling. For monetary reasons, we'll call it meadow muffins. Avila It's a fly ball, shallow right. Rivera coming in, rides a Schwinn, and that will do. Boy, he was almost on the infield when he made that catch. So the Indians get 3 hits, a double play, and they don't get anything. They've left on 2, and after 2.5, no score. Andy tipped cows. Ah! I met a stranger by a parking garage I knew from the internet, and he's a cow tipper. On one of your first dates with your wife on a double date. That is so New England. There you go.
So, Daddy, what did you do on your first date with Mommy?
We tip cows. Jeezum Crow, we tip cows, yeah. Actually, it was 1. You know, Greg, I hadn't seen my birth father since I was 6. So I know he lived to be 93? Wow. Steve's dad used to say, if wishes were horses, we'd all take a ride, and if cow piles were cakes, we'd eat until we died. You gotta say it this way. If wishes were horses, we'd all take a ride, and if, boy, the Jesus, if cow piles were cakes, we'd eat until we died. We did tell the kids and now the grandkids. Jeremiah was hoping to get to second base on his first date. We aren't going with those stories. Sorry, no way. Jerry Staley, 0 for 24, as we said, but he has a walk, a run scored, and an RBI. Was thrown out at third. By her or her father. Miska Muska Musketeer. Staley is now 1 for 25. On cue, he gets the hit. It gets the chuckle out of it. Second hit for the White Sox. Over Avila and into right center. Opening 9 for Lemon, who doesn't look happy. 35 pitches, 2+ innings, 2 hits and a strikeout. Pull the heavy. Jim Rivera is 0 for 1. Greg's mom was 92, but dementia. Just, I guess why we talked about it, I forget how it came up, but it was worth tackling. Did you marry Miss Piggy then, Jeremiah? We know your name is Kermit. Pitch to Rivera. Fly ball left field. Calavito going back. Rocky to the track and will make the catch. And Staley goes back to first. And now to tell Jerry what to do on the bases. Kind of like Jeremiah on his first date. He really doesn't know what to do. Nellie Fox is 0 for 1. Greg had a close but no cigar series last week on OOTP. 58 Braves and 82 Brewers. I would imagine the Braves are better, but do they still have Burdette? Jeremiah says, after she sung the 7th inning stretch for a Strat game, I knew she was the one. My wife knows what the word Strat is, and it usually gets an eye roll. How you doing, Aaron? My grandfather, Andy says, had dementia. My dad has dementia. Yeah. My mom is 73, and her mind is all there. And my dad, who lived to be 66, was all there too, and he had survived a stroke. Fox is 0 for 1. Nelly hits a ground ball past Wirtz and past Woodling all the way down the corner in right field. Staley's on his horse. He'll round third and score. Fox digging for 3, and he has his 6th triple of the year. So the White Sox break on through here first, 1-0 on the Fox triple. Remember, he drove in all 4 runs in Game 1 yesterday. He had scored the first run in Game 2. If the White Sox do win the American League, Mr. Fox is going to be one of the huge reasons why. This is MVP type stuff as we head into September. Larry Doby is 0 for 1. Walked him. Ball 4. So first and third. One out for Minoso. Minnie struck out his first time up. Great series despite only going to 5 games. This was the 58 Braves and the Battle of Milwaukee. Schlitz and Schlotz. Braves in 5. 3 extra inning games. Wow, and 1 4-2 game plus a 7-4 game. All the extra inning games were 3-2. Wow, that's intense. Minoso swings, high fly ball, left field. Back goes Colavito, and Rocky will hit the wall. Fox scores. Doby around third. He'll get sent home. Colavito throws it in the infield, and the White Sox go up 3-0. So Minoso with his 19th double. And that'll bring up Sherm Lawler, who was 0 for 1. Steve's dad was sharp as a tack at 96. God bless him. Thus I go to Connecticut and meet internet celebrities and alleys next to the parking garage and eat French dip. I live in Vermont. You went to Vermont. Yeah. Eddie Matthews went 1 for 22 with a home run. Mr. Lockwood will not be happy. Sherm Lawler is 0 for 1. There is a ground ball to Carrasquel over to Wirtz for the out. Lawler is retired. Oh, that's right. You went to Connecticut for the con. And then you crossed to Connecticut to come see me. Walt Dropo single his first time up in the first hit of the ball game. How you doing, Bobby? Captain Coral? I still think that's crazy that you had the Giants beat the Bears. There is a high ground ball over the mound. Avila to Wirtz for the out. So, Bobby, what is your next football project? 3 runs for the White Sox. Oh, yeah, there's a game going on 3 hits and no errors. We go to the 4th. Chicago 3, Cleveland nothing. So Wirtz, Colavito, and Woodling to face Staley here. Aaron can't complete the payment even though all your information is correct. My card is enabled for international purchase, but still declined. I would email Dave Cook, support@dksports.com. Oh, the AFL championship game. And who did San Diego curb stomp? They are so good. Someone want to type that for Aaron? Support@dksports.com. The Oilers, who were an Eastern Division team, 56-28. Wirtz is 0 for 1. For many years, the Giants were the NFL version of the CFL Saskatchewan Roughriders. As a Giant fan, I'm afraid to ask, but please tell me why. Pitch to Wirtz. Base hit, right field. Rivera will pick it up. Colavito 0 for 1. 4th hit allowed. Staley worked around it with a double play. There is a ground ball past Hatfield down the line. Minoso's going to have to go get it. Wirtz is not a decathlete. He'll hold it third on the double by Colavito. So 2 on, nobody out for Gene Woodling, who is 0 for 1. The Riders have only one of their first 13 Grey Cups. Okay. 1,000 yards offense in that game, with San Diego putting up 621. I have that season in Strat and in Solitaire Pro. Besides Allworth being a beast, so was Tobin Rote. Remember, John Hadel came off the bench. And Lowe and Lincoln, it's like listening to Lerner and Lowe. There is no stop with that team. Pitch to Woodling. Base hit up. No! Doby made the catch, and the run will score on the sacrifice. So Wirtz scores. Colavito got caught. He went back to second, and there's one out. 3-1 now. Al Rosen 0 for 1. Staley's pitch. That's a base hit in a right field. Rivera will cut it off. Colavito rounds third. Rivera has a good arm. Here comes the play at the plate. They got him. So Colavito is tagged out by Lawler, and there's 2 out and Rosen on first. So the Indians have 6 hits, but only the 1 run to show. Carrasquel singled. He's 1 for 1. Yes, they've been much better since 88. Well, I don't know about Saskatchewan, but the Giants certainly have been. Next season up is your 2,000 runners project, which will be last year, 2024. Saquon Barkley. Speaking of Giants. Oh, Rope played for the Argos as well? Okay. So, Bobby Appa. Strat won't be out for a while yet. Carrasquel singled his first time up. Rosen on first. 3-1 White Sox as we play the top of the 4th. Popped up. Lawler makes the catch, and that will do. Indians get on the board. 3 hits, a run, and no errors. Bottom of the 4th, 3-1 Chicago. If the Argos had got the cup in 60, got to the cup and won in 60, he would have been the only quarterback to win a championship in 3 leagues. Okay. The AFL. Was he on a Super Bowl winning team? And presumably college. It's because I know that Warren Moon won the Pac-8 with Washington before going to Edmonton and winning 5 Stanley Cup or 5 Grey Cups, Ron. Standings. Dodgers magic number is 17, 11 up on Milwaukee. St. Louis, Philly, Pittsburgh, and Chicago. The NFL on CBS is next. In the American League, again, no changes here. Yesterday, it's 1 up on the Yankees, 2.5 up on Chicago and Cleveland, and the Red Sox 3.5. Even Kansas City has the faintest of hopes, as in Jim Carrey saying, so you're saying there's a chance. And we're not kidding. Milwaukee would be up 4.5 if they were an American League team. Hatfield, Aparicio, and Staley to face Lemon here in the 4th. Fred 0 for 1. Up the middle, base hit. And Hatfield's going to try to stretch this into a double. The throw is not in time, and Hatfield has his double. So the 5th hit. And a runner in scoring position for Aparicio. Do I bunt here? I bunt here. Louis puts one down. Hegan throws to Avila. It's going to be close, but Aparicio's out. So 1 out, and the runner moved up. And Jerry Staley now filling his oats, now hitting 040. Will have to swing. Yankees are lurking. Who do I want to win? Well, if the Red Sox are 3.5 out, we have some vindication from last year. I would say anybody but New York, to be honest. I think Brooklyn on APA or on Action PC paper is so dominant, I don't really see an American League team winning. But I'll be happy with whoever. There's a political answer. He played quarterback with the 57 finals against Cleveland. Oh, in the NFL. Just missed it in 60 in Ottawa, and then in the AFL with the Chargers. Okay. So NFL, AFL, and possibly CFL. Who do I want to win again? Going down to the last weekend would be great. The Tigers, Cleveland won in 54. The White Sox won the American League in 59. The Red Sox would be a complete surprise, but the Tigers were in that era the eternal bridesmaids until they won the American League in '68. Pitch to Staley. There's another base hit. How about that, Jerry Staley? You don't have a hit all year, and now you got back-to-back, and you make it a 4-1 ball game. A 1-2 fastball lined into left center, and it's 4-1 Chicago. Jim Rivera 0 for 2. Lemon not very happy. 63 pitches, 18 batters, 3 1/3, 6 hits, a walk and a strikeout. Ottawa later defeated the Eagles to win who had won the NFL championship. What rules did they play under? 3 downs or 4? Rivera pops it up. Hegan has it. Makes a great catch for the out. 2 away for Fox. Nelly tripled. 1 for 2. Drove home his 60th and scored his 86th. That's a ground ball to Carrascal. Over to Wirtz. Nelly's running, but they won't get him, or they will get him, and that will do. However, White Sox get a big run on 2 hits and no errors after 4. 4-1 Chicago. Half and half, okay. Hegan, Lemon, and Smith to face Staley, who just got a big old Cheshire cat grin on his face. On the mound, Jim is grounded into a double play his first time up. 3 downs for one and 4 for the other. Okay, makes sense. Up the middle, Aparicio cuts it off, throws to first for the out. Sure, in those days, 60 was a 12-game season. They've always played 20 games. Can you imagine? You play half of the 8 games and none of them count? Bob Lemon, by the way, singled his first time up. He rips this one past Dropo into right, and Lemon is 2 for 2. So the pitchers today are combined 4 for 4. They have 4 of the 13 hits. Al Smith 1 for 2 with single. Staley 4 1/3, 18 batters, 56 pitches, 7 hits. Popped up left side. That conclave doesn't seem to be going anywhere on the third base side, and they made the catch, and it's 2-2. CFL's had an 18-game season for a long time. Starting in 61, the NFL went to a 14-game. 78, they went to a 16-game. And then a few years ago, we added the 17th game. Line drive to Staley. 2 out. And you wonder why so many third-string quarterbacks are playing in December. Bobby Avila is 0 for 2. Staley deals. There's a ground ball past Dropo into right field. Rivera will have it. Fox with a rare bad play. So runners on the corners. 2 out for Wirtz. Nelly's made 34 great plays and 8 bad plays. I think Wirtz 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. In the 60s, the CFL played 14 games in the East and 16 in the West, since the West had the extra team. When was it considered to be a unified league? Because there was an Eastern League and a Western League, and they met for the Grey Cup. So we would think of it as a CFL, but it's not really considered the CFL. Pitch to Wirtz. There is a base hit into right field. Rivera will grab it and drop it. Lemon scores. Avila will hold on third. Rivera, that's a single and an error. And Staley has given up 9 hits. It's 4-2 for Colavito, who has a double. He's 1 for 2. He is the go-ahead run. 2 out. Staley deals. And he walked him. He's too busy worrying about his hitting. So the FBO walk, first base open, for Gene Woodling, who is 0 for 1 with an RBI. So 4-2 Chicago with 2 out in the top of the 5th. Staley bears down and walked home a run. Avila claps his hands as he scores. Woodling takes first. A full count off-speed pitch that missed high and outside. So 4-3 now the score. Rosen 1 for 2. Got himself a single in this one, and Colavito has decent speed on second. So a single could put Cleveland out in front. Ground ball to first. Dropo waits. Mick takes to the bag, and that will do. Big inning for Cleveland. 2 runs, 3 hits, and a costly error. We're halfway home on a gorgeous day in Burlington. Chicago 4, Cleveland 3. Oh, apparently we're not doing monetization for this one. Anywho, you get a freebie today. Not that I was choosing that. 4 runs, 6 hits, an error for Chicago. 3 runs, 9 hits, an error for Cleveland. Nellie, after Cleveland could not score on 3 hits in the top of the third, Nellie Fox tripled home Jerry Staley to make it 1-0 in the bottom of the third, and then Minnie Minoso a 2-run double to make it 3-0 White Sox. Cleveland got a singleton in the fourth. Gene Woodling hit a liner, scoring 1 to make it 3-1. In the bottom of the inning, Jerry Staley again with an RBI single, this time to score Hatfield to make it 4-1. But just a moment ago, Cleveland sends 8 to the plate. Vic Wertz a single to score Bob Lemon, followed by an error, and then Woodling walked with the bases loaded to make it 4-3. So Staley not covering himself in clover. 9 hits, 5 innings, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 2. Lemon 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned, a walk and a strikeout. It'll be Doby, Minoso, and Lawler here in the bottom of the fifth. Larry is 0 for 1 with a walk. It came together in the late 40s, but didn't change the league name until the late 50s. The Argos have been around since 1873, okay? The original Ottawa team, the Rough Riders, were around until 1996. And Saskatchewan's had a team since 1910. The more you know. Pitch to Doby. There is a high ground ball to Avila. Bobby on 2 hops over to Wirtz, 1 out. For Minoso, Minnie 1 for 2. He's got himself a double and drove in 2 in the third. That is a base hit into right center field. Woodling will throw it back in. This is not a pitcher's duel. We've had some this week. This ain't it. Sherm Lawler 0 for 2. Minoso has good speed. Now I will wait to see what they do. Lemon goes home. Lawler shot to Avila. Carrasquel for 1. Wirtz for 2. So a 4-6-3 double play, and that will take care of the Shy Sox in the fifth. They get a hit, and the double play erases the runner. After 5, 4-3, Chicago. Carrasquel, 1 for 2. Chico's got himself a single. Lots of motion on offense. Remember also, Bobby, that you go with 12 aside on both sides of the football in Canadian football as opposed to 11. It's a pretty good mashup between American football and rugby. And there's also a 20-second play clock as opposed to the continuous 40. Popped up. Right side, Dropo, almost on the grass, makes the catch, 1 out. For Hegan, who is 0 for 2, he's grounded into a double play. Staley, first base side of the rubber, throws to Dropo, and Hegan's retired, 2 out. For Lemon, who's had himself a day, 2 for 2, he has singled twice and scored once. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right field. Rivera going back. That is well hit. Jim will make the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. Cleveland goes in order after 5.5, 4-3, Chicago. No, Steve, that's it. It's 3 downs to get 10 yards. The field's 110 yards long and 65 wide. The end zones are 20 yards deep. Yeah, it's a lot. Both American football and Canadian football are rugby derivatives, but the Canadian version is a little truer. You can actually do an onside punt. Walt Dropo is 1 for 2. Hatfield and Aparicio to follow. Walt has a single. Lemon starts the 6th. Ground ball to first. Wirtz takes it himself. 1 out. Most of my CFL knowledge came from the 82 strike when NBC showed the games. No one watched. Fred Hatfield 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored, but they made sure that late game on Sunday had Warren Moon on. So there was a lot of Edmonton Eskimo games during the strike. Hatfield slaps one down to second. Avila waits, throws to Wirtz, and that is a fast inning. 2 out. In fact, it's so fast you only get 2 outs. Aparicio 0 for 1. Lemon from the wind. Popped up. Avila into foul territory, first base side. Will make the catch, and that will do. After 6, no runs, no hits, no errors. Chicago 4, Cleveland 3. Korean baseball. Oh, COVID. Hard to find those streams. But especially because they were morning games. Bobby really saw the difference between AFL and NFL when he did that replay. AFL more of a high-flying offense, while the NFL was more smash-mouth. Yeah. Sid Gilman or George Halas style? Which do you want? I knew this, Greg. The first ever football game, what we would call football, was played at McGill University up in Montreal, which is where James Naismith invented basketball. Yeah, especially with the 3 downs, the AFL, you had to be more creative. It was more like the CFL. There is a graph. Bobby can find it because he's also a member of the unofficial official Stratform, where they actually have the breakdown of passes and runs and yards and all that going back to 1956. And it's amazing to see how stable things are and how much things have changed at the same time. Passing is much more accurate in that, but the points per game, pretty much over the last 70 some odd years, has been very stable. Al Smith 1 for 3 with a single. 27 batters deep for Staley, 92 pitches, 6 innings, 9 hits, and 2 walks. All the runs are earned. In the center, Doby will make the catch, 1 out. Reminder, doubleheader Monday for Labor Day. It'll be the Tigers in the visitors' dugout, and you get to see a little more of the White Sox. 11:30 Eastern, Monday morning, right here on Retro Sports Network. That's Eastern Time. 6:30 in Turkey, and 8:30 a.m. if you're out with the Goats in Washington. Bobby Avila is 1 for 3. Bobby has singled and scored. There is a base hit in the left center field. So Staley has now allowed 10 hits, but is on the right side of a 4-3 lead. Vic Wirtz is 2 for 3. He has singled twice, driven in a run, and scored. Avila goes. Was that a bunt? They were going to hit and run there. Wow. 0-2 the count. Staley's pitch, Avila stays. However, that is a little winker that gets through the hole on the right side, and that's the 11th hit. Wirtz is having himself a good day. He has 3 hits. Maybe the 56 cards were the ones that had the names on the top with the silhouetted player on the colored background. Rocky Colavito has a double and a walk. He's 1 for 2. Mr. Gregg remembers when Chris Berman and Tom Jackson, who were also fans of the CFL, once said in studio during a broadcast when Warren Moon was about to play his first NFL playoff game. Okay. Pitch to Colavito. There's a ground line shot to third. Hatfield's got it. He throws to Dropo, and Wirtz is picked off. Stretch time, right? 4-3 Chicago. Staley will stay in the game. He has singled twice today and has brought his batting average up from 0 to 77. These two teams have met 16 times in 1956, not including today, and they are 6-2 and even. They are 8-8. So after today, 5 more, and I think they would be Cleveland would get the next. They've met 7 times in Cleveland and 9 times in Chicago. That's pretty even. Staley popped up. Hegan doffs the mask. 1 out. The Edmonton Eskimos, who had won 5 straight Grey Cups, they probably would have won a couple Super Bowls. I would agree with that. I thought Pete Exum was going to have a heart attack. Wouldn't have been his first. Jim Rivera is 0 for 3. Lemon 27 batters deep. 91 pitches. 6 1/3. 7 hits. All 4 runs are earned. He has 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Pitch to Rivera. There's a ground ball the opposite way. Rosen has it. Throws to Wirtz. And Rivera is safe on a bang-banger. Rosen was surprised. He thought he had that in plenty of time. Nellie Fox 1 for 3. He has a triple and a 60th RBI. Throw to first. Rivera. Did they pick him off? I think they picked him. That well ahead of the throw. Then why did it take so long for the graphic to go back? 1 out. First pitch to Nelly is a loud ground ball to Wirtz. He got it. Carrasquel for 1. Fox is going to reach as the throw back is not in time. 3-6 on the fielder's choice. 2 out for Doby. Larry 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Got him. So Lemon is through 7. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 8th. White Sox 4, Indians 3. So Woodling, Rosen, and Carrasquel to face Staley here in the 8th. Gene is 0 for 1. He has walked once and driven in 2. Until recently, there's only been 2 people in both the NFL and CFL Hall of Fame. Moon and can Woodling tie it with some good wood? Maybe. That's in the left field. Has Sean called this? No. Minoso sticks his tongue out at you. 1 out. For Al Rosen, 1 for 3. Al's got himself a single. Bud Grant, of course. Of course. As a coach, Winnipeg and Minnesota. Rosen in the left center field. Minoso in the alley, and Minnie will make the catch. 2 out for Chico Carrasquel, who is 1 for 3 with a single. That is a base hit in the left center field past Aparicio. And the tying run is on for Jim Hegan, who is 0 for 3 and grounded into a double play. Marv Levy would be the third. Now, Marv was a coach in the CFL, but I'm drawing a blank as to where. Got him. Stanley struck him out, and we're through 7.5. He swung on a miss, an 0-2 changeup. No runs, a hits, and a 1 hit, and no errors. Bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Chicago. So Minoso, Lawler, and Dropo to face Lemon. Minnie 2 for 3. He has single, doubled, and driven in 2. Oh, Montreal. Old Stoneface. Bug Ray. I should have known that. You would think, with Montreal being an hour and a half away from here, that we would give a crap about the Alouettes. Not the Concorde, but the Alouettes in the CFL. The answer to that is a big, fat nope. Walked him. Doug Flutie must be in the CFL Hall. He'd be in the American College Football Hall, too. Sherm Lawler, 0 for 3, is grunted into a double play. The one he lost, they missed a kick at the end of a game on a frozen field. So it was not at Skydome. Lawler swings. Ground ball to Wirtz. Takes to the bag himself. Minoso goes to second. 1 out for Dropo. Walt 1 for 3 with a single. That is right back to Lemon. Up the box, throws to Wirtz, 2 out. I learn as much stuff as you guys do during these streams. That's cool. Fred Hatfield 1 for 3. Fred has a double and a run scored. Aaron went for the Indians. So, Aaron, were you able to get that email? No, he wouldn't be in the NFL Hall of Fame. As a person, yes, but not as a player. Hatfield struck him out. So Lemon snorts as his day is probably done, especially since he's leading off the 8th. Leading off the inning. So, Staley trying to keep the door slammed. The Indians 1 to tie, 2 to go ahead. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 9th, 4-3, Chicago. All right, he should get back to you pretty soon. You should hear by the time you go to bed. Carl says that's the best thing about playing in these replays. Absolutely. However, Bobby, I would not recommend spraying your table with a garden hose and then putting it in the freezer. That just doesn't work. Lemon, if he stays in, is 2 for 3 with a run scored. 2 singles. Dave Pope. Oh! Appropriately pinch hitting here at Comiskey. He hit yesterday. 1 for 3 as a player this year with a run scored and grounded into a double play. Fly ball, right field. Rivera should grab it. He does. The winds have died down, 59 degrees. The White Sox 2 outs away from their 70th win of the year. Al Smith 1 for 4 with a single. Staley 36 batters, 115 pitches. 8 1/3, 12 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout, and all 3 runs are earned. Greg got a $20 bet on the Bills in their first Super Bowl against the Giants, but when the Bills were getting ready to kick, I wanted to make it 40. A 47-yarder on grass is not a gimme. There, I said it. Parallel, Steve Steen in the old sim was the Montreal Skylarks. Alouette is French for Skylark. Oh, I did not know that. Did you know that, Ed? Yes! Yes, I did. That is a slow ground ball. Staley, first base side of the rubber. Throws to Dropo, and Smith beat it out. So the tying run is on. 1 out for Avila. Bobby 2 for 4. He has singled twice and scored. You bet on the Giants. And he got a 4x6 of Bud, right? Pitch to Avila. There's a ground ball to third. This might end at Hatfield. Fox for 1. Hatfield robbed a hit. Avila will reach on the fielder's choice. 2 out, but 5-4 just to get the 1. So Wirtz, who has had himself a day, 3 for 4. Last chance saloon is singled 3 times, driven in a run and scored. They often call them the Larks during the highlight packages on Montreal TV. I saw, Greg, a picture of Dick Irvin this morning on Facebook at a grocery store looking very dapper at 93 years old. Talking about Johnny Carson, it's hard to believe that they're shutting down the Late Show. When you consider that the 3 late shows combined draw 700,000 in the demo, not just for one, but all 3 combined, yeah, I can understand why that's a money-losing proposition. Foul tipped it. Throw to first on the 1-1. Avila's back. Avila can pretty much do what he wants. If they get worse, the game is over. Last chance saloon. Oh, Dick he always came across as a great guy. Yeah, I think that they're all going away. Andy, the game shows pretty much went away. It's most of the soap operas have gone away. A lot of the decent talk shows, period, have gone away. They just cost a lot of money. Pitch to Wirtz. Fly ball right field. Rivera, that's well hit, but that will stay in the yard, and the White Sox are going to win this one by the score of 4-3. So 2 hours and 27 fake minutes for this one. The White Sox go to 70-57. 4 runs, 8 hits in an hour. The Indians fall to 69-58. 3 runs, 13 hits in an hour. And they left on 9, the White Sox 6. Jerry Staley goes the distance and has 2 hits. He's going to be your digital and ice MVP. In fact, he is now 9-0 on the replay. 13 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Lemon falls to 14-12, and you can see by his reaction that he's happy. 8 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Yes, Bob was a bit of a lemon. Yep, not even close. Dick Irvin. I love Craig Ferguson. Dick Irvin hosted a sports trivia show in Montreal when he was younger called Know Your Sports. Just a classic guy. All right. Rest of this Saturday, September 1st, 1956, Brooklyn and the Giants in a doubleheader at the Polo Grounds, and the Dodgers sweep. The Dodgers just don't sweep, they pound. Absolutely pound. In the opener, Don Drysdale goes in 9-1, 13-3. Pee Wee Reese hits his 7th, goes 4 for 6. One of those games they had 20 hits. Littlefield takes a loss, 3-6. The Dodgers go into Labor Day with 89 wins. In the nightcap, they beat the Giants 8-2. Sal Magley goes 12-7. Serkant takes the loss, his first. Carl Furillo 3 for 4. 17th homer and drives in 2. Philly beat Pittsburgh 5-1. Rogovan 4-11. Hall falls to 2-5. Lapata, it's his 33rd, 1 for 3. The All-Star had a walk. Cincinnati falls to the Cubs at Crossley 12-5. Valentini, don't say that too fast, 2-2. Brooks Lawrence falls to 13-9. Cubbies pound out 20 hits. Hoke had 2 of them, 2 for 5. Hit his 8th and drives in 2. Red Sox beat the Orioles 9-5 in a Dolly Parton special. Frank Sullivan, an 18-game winner. Wow. He's 18-5. Hal Brown falls to 6-7. Lepsio pumps out his 10th, 2 for 4, drives in 3. Poor Milwaukee will lose half a game despite the win. They beat St. Louis 4-1. Warren Spahn 18-4. Vinegar Bed Bizel 9-13. Stan Musial 3 for 4. Hits his 23rd. The Yankees in 10 struggled, but they beat Washington 8-7. Tommy Byrne 8-1. Byerly 0-2. Hank Bauer pounds his 20th. 2 for 4 with a double. Detroit, there is absolutely no change in the standings except for Cleveland lost a game. Detroit beats Kansas City 6-2. Frank Larry 13-12. Cretlow 6-9. Now Kaline hits his 23rd, 1 for 3 with a walk. Oh my goodness, this is just crazy. Crazy. And Paul, the Brooklyn Machine marches on. AL will be fun. The doubleheader next Monday will be the Tigers and the White Sox, 11:30 Eastern, 6:30 in Turkey, 8:30 a.m. out in Goatland. It's gonna be hot. So that's it. Thank you so much for all the kind words, especially with the mental health video. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday for the Labor Day Telethon doubleheader from Comiskey Park. So long, everybody.